of this tournament, there have been times where they've rolled the dice and played a faster game. I don't know if we know exactly how W will play out this series, but if it's quarterfinals form, it's going to be slow and scaled.
And we already have a different series with the Galio ban. No 5x Galio today for Crown.
Jana also big pick for specifically Ben. 12-0 on the year, so undefeated on the year on the Jana. Played it 9 times at Worlds, so kind of insane he's got it so much.
Exactly. We were saying we would be shocked if Samsung didn't ban Jana on red side, as that would be an automatic first pick above. Probably only Kalista would have preempted a Jana first pick as far as WE's priorities.
So what does become first pick worthy? Gragas still available, Jarvan up, Tristana are the sort of power picks that are screaming to my mind, and there's Mystics Kog'Maw banned away.
I feel like it is Jarvan based on the Sejuani bans, but you can also match it with the Gragas later. It's going to be very interesting to see where Team WE's priorities lie.
And that's because it's Jarvan versus Gragas. You don't have to grab, and Rakan has to be denied because Xayah also available. They're on the Rakan side of the coin for WE.
That's the big thing actually right here, is red side would and could Xayah Rakan right there, which is actually why a lot of people have been asking me, you know, why do we see Xayah banned so much over something like Tristana, which, by the way, is still not banned? It's because you want to block the combo and you don't want to be forced into picking the other one. So right now, if Samsung does pick Tristana, that means Xayah can go over on the other side, which forces Samsung into Xayah and therefore can grant Team WE Trist.
Now, do we like the little bit of the shenanigans? It's going to be a swap away. Now, Ruler undefeated on Tristana at Worlds. He's currently 4-0, only conceded 3 deaths, has locked it in. Ben on the other side, 1-0-12 on his single and only Rakan performance. Mystic, does he take the Xayah and go for that power combo?
Mystic, everyone was talking about his Kog'Maw during the quarterfinal. Xayah was his most played champion in the summer split. And very rarely do you actually get it with Rakan. It is usually blocked, but based on the priority of Tristana, specifically for Ruler, he was playing Trist in the anime opening we had before here. It is a signature pick.
And I don't want to necessarily throw any shade at the Xayah from Ruler that was overlooked here. Is actually 4-0, 21 KDA on the pick this year. He was a late bloomer on the Xayah, came to load the AD carries a bit later in the LCK. So you notice what they do have, which is a BF Sword AD carry in Tristana that can rotate, that can increase the pace of the game early and potentially allow them to get a sort of similar style of when they got in game 2 and 3 of the quarterfinal. They give up a lot doing that, but they do have the Tristana who can be a weapon in that way.
Yeah, and you almost always want to lock that with Taric, not only for the Ardent Sense usage, but also because Taric J4 is a very good controlled initiation combo. But I feel like against the Xayah Rakan, the early shove absolutely goes over there with the bonuses that that duo get.
I completely agree, but to me, Taric is a better pick for Samsung Galaxy than almost any other team in the world, because you think about what they were playing Taric with, specifically in the quarterfinal. This team is known for multiple engage options along their team. High CC comps. They were the first team to play Sejuani Braum, and Ambition brought back the Sejuani into the jungle role. If you have boundless initiation, Taric can really be the icing on the cake. The timing of the ultimate is so clean when you're winning, when you have engage on the Cosmic Radiance. I think they'll add more CC as the draft goes on.
Well, let's find out, because we're into phase 2 bans. A lot of CC removed from the top lane. Cho'Gath as well as the Jace now banned by Samsung Galaxy towards 957. Orianna, 1 ban left for Team WE. Some of those tanks are still available if they want to go that route.
And if you're looking at the mid lane though, Trevor, there is also the Taliyah that's been a big pick for Crown as recently as that quarterfinal. Both these mid laners have played it recently. It won't be banned, so heavy emphasis on denying some of these carry top laners who straddle the line, like the Cho'Gath and Na particularly, and the true carry and Jace. To me, this is WE just trying to provide coverage for 957. They just want him on a team fighting tank.
Yeah, and if they do lock in Taliyah, I think it puts a lot of pressure on Team WE to try and match some type of that global presence. Do they now have to blind pick the Shen into whatever type of carry pick QV could want to play, or if he just wants to take Jarvan up there? So I really do like the Taliyah pick there with the Orianna ban to speak towards Crown's ability to play the map.
And especially if it's the essence of the quarterfinal Samsung Galaxy, you almost pencil in Shen if it's left available. They have a guaranteed pushing lane in mid that would allow there to be enough map pressure to run the Shen, but Shen is also a big pick for 957, it'll be taken here. And now your mind goes to what Samsung will answer in the top lane. It could still be a Jarvan. We could be hiding the jungle pick for Ambition. But I think maybe something like the Kled, bringing back an old pick, is an outside possibility in this scenario.
Yeah, but first things first, it's what she is going to pick in the mid lane. I would like to see something like Corki in this scenario in order to have even more match of the Taliyah. It's something that can shove in, keep wave pressure, and it's something she has been good on. But they might have something else planned here.
What do you think of the Kassadin locked in? Game 1 of the semi-final here.
Very good pick into Taliyah after 6, but we'll need some babying before 6 through Condi. You'll have to make some of these missions through the mid lane, particularly in that regard. Looking at Cuvé's pick, right now he's considering the cannon, won on it previously, actually going to be taking it this game as well.
Oh man, so right now I see so much early push from the Samsung team that Team WE is going to have to get rid of. Shen Kassadin is a lethal combo if they get ahead because of how they can split push and collapse on you, but their wave clear is abysmal when compared to the Kennen and Taliyah in the solo lanes.
And we asked for more engage on the Samsung side. They delivered. The Kennen still a prime teleport flank initiator on their side. So shoving lanes, engage, the Taric to also be that team fight win condition. They've got a lot going on here on the Samsung Galaxy side.
And what Team WE has going for them is that bottom lane. They've comboed Xayah with Rakan. Mystic is the main guy who brought them here. They prioritize that in the draft, and they're going up against a giant initiation team in Samsung, and are going to have to do a lot to weather that storm.
Oh, the early laning phase is going to be so pivotal and important. Let's see whether or not Condi or Ambition can get into the faces of their respective opponents. You can see the coaches on stage, of course, as Team WE and Samsung Galaxy are now going to set sights on one another for the first time here in this final semi-final. Jump onto Twitter. You guys know how to vote. Hashtag WEWin or hashtag SSGWin. The unenviable task of facing SK Telecom in the finals is what's at stake here, gentlemen. And I know where the crowd is cheering behind the last LPL representative.
Yeah, and I feel like it's going to be very difficult for particularly Xie this game on that Kassadin that he has picked into Taliyah. Not necessarily because of a lane matchup post-6, but because of a team fight matchup in the later game against the Kennen, J4, Taliyah, Taric. So much CC to try and lock him down.
The headaches certainly never end on the side of Samsung Galaxy when it comes to all those engage options. Really only the Rakan for engage on WE's side. To me, on a macro sense, before the action really gets going, big way for WE to win this game is relentlessly gank the Kennen. If both Kassadin and Kassadin and Shen can enter the Kennen lane, that's the way they can win with the 1-3-1.
All right, we'll keep an eye on how well that can get set up.
Yep.
Papa Smithy will be a little bit of time before that can happen. Double teleports on the side of Team WE. Important to keep note of. Ben, by the way, running the Ignite in that bottom lane, trying to take advantage of that Xayah Rakan power. And after Team WE group is 5, place the wards, it is somewhat mirrored, but not quite as deep by Samsung Galaxy.
And I want to discuss what has been done here at the level 1, because all the wards from WE are placed in the top side. So their safe place to go for the starting camp is where they have vision, is the top side. WE want to play top side because that doesn't allow Cuvée on the cannon to overextend in the Shen lane. If the top side is controlled, that allows them to really try and shut down the counter matchup.
This feels like a bait. Xie and Mystic are available. Body slam goes forward. The explosive charge pops. Condi runs for his life. Now it's just burning. And somebody heal forced to be used. First blood picked up by Mystic.
And you have to question what Samsung was thinking there, camping 4 people in the jungle with Cuvée set up top side. Yeah, the map was split in their favor down bottom side, and they really didn't expect 957 to be there, but that is a huge play for Team WE.
The word you use is expect, and with preparation, with how you scrim, you do not normally see a re-invade against a Taliyah team, against a pretty good level 1 team. They were caught off guard, because in Korea you'd expect people to play to where they'd place the vision at level 1. WE re-invade, and they get the maximum from it.
Unbelievable, and it lands in Mystic's hands as well. Now, he's not gone back-to-back to spend any of that additional advantage and is flashless for now. But what a great start for Team WE and a great confidence builder as they open up the series against Samsung Galaxy. And now we're going to settle into the normal lanes, everything as expected.
Yeah, and until the first base from Mystic, that gank doesn't actually mean that much. You can see Ambition has taken red buff. Condi is maybe a little bit ahead of him in the jungle, but the starting items are exactly the same. What actually happened by 957 being late to lane is he lost out even a little bit more than you may have thought against that call Kennen. So there will still be the potential for 2 out of 3 shoving lanes for Samsung and Ambition to make some engaged plays. With no flash, that definitely hurts him a little bit, but until the shop happens, Samsung still have pushing lanes.
The best news story is that at least Ambition's timings when it comes to gank timings, when it comes to being there for a counter gank, if the first gank is made for Condi, are likely to be delayed slightly because he had to get to the jungle a little bit later. There is that small window, but Condi has the level 3 advantage or might have the positioning advantage on the map.
All right, where is he at the moment? Still currently a little bit of an invade on this top half of the map. We mentioned, or during picks and bans, we mentioned that Condi could trend towards Xie's lane, just cover and help him out until he gets that level 6 and access to Riftwalk. We've seen Zion Rakan twice here at Worlds. It's 2-0 up until this stage of the tournament. And the lane's definitely pushing as expected. I think Mystic and Ben trying to deal with some of this early push that Rula and Cordiage had set up. It hasn't quite yet maybe normalized, if that's the right word.
Yeah, so let's talk about this right now. I think the starting items do speak fairly largely to how Samsung is wanting to play this lane. They've gone heal barrier, which is very defensive, and then on top of that, they've actually gone for the relic shield on the Taric as well, rather than going for an ancient point opener. So the gold generation will be lower for Taric, but it does make them so much tankier for these little fights.
Oh, the knockup connects onto Rula. Barrier and flash is still available to him. That's the rocket jump away. Cordiage now running for his life. Ben and Mystic continue to pressure Samsung away, but they end up winning the 2v2.
Looked like Rula took more auto attacks than he needed to in that trade. Hard to say just out the corner of your eye, but regardless, very nice trade there. Level 3 is when Zion Rakan really come online, when they have access to all their abilities. That means they're in a comfortable spot, even with the Doran's shield regen starting for Rula.
Try to buy as much time as they possibly can. Condi had already pushed into that top half of the jungle where you can see Ambition. He just showed his face and is now full back to try and clear as many camps as he can. On the first teleport for Xie, just get him back into lane. He's got the blasting wand after his first back. The damage start. We'll see whether or not he can accelerate this Cassidy, because of course for Team WE, staying ahead in the early game, setting up that 1-3-1, not allowing themselves to get engaged on by this heavy engaged comp that Samsung have put together is going to be so vital to allow the Shen and Cassidy to do work.
Absolutely, and I think the Blasting Wand's a pretty aggressive move for him right there. No defensive stats. Gets blown into Crown. This is trouble.
That is indeed. The Force Pulse, I think, was missed. Flashes away from the flag and drag. Now Crown is in trouble. Body Slam comes down. Teleport was started by 957 first and cancelled. In fact, does not leave base. Cuvee also channeled his.
That's big. Cuvee was actually already in lane, had run back with the... Actually stayed in lane, hasn't backed yet. So 957 will have to walk back. Cuvee will get a better back timing. No other big advantages there. Getting Xie's flash as a trade for crowns. It's decent at level 5, but from level 6 Riftwalk means the Cassidy will be inherently safe.
Yeah, I think that turned out fairly well for Team WE. I can understand why Samsung would go for a gank. I think it was pretty well played by both sides, with the teleports both being canceled right at the last second.
I didn't quite see if the rocket jump was interrupted or not, but Ben seems to be finding a lot of knockups on that grand entrance onto Rula. And let's see how this continues to play out. So quickly draw their attention to Ambition. We talked about how important and pivotal he can be. At the moment, obviously, a little bit of a deficit from that early shenanigans going awry, but such a stark contrast in performance.
Yeah, I mean, you can see in group stage, some people were calling him a first blood magnet. He gave it up 3 times in the 5 games that he played and never got a killer assist. But it was a completely different story in the quarterfinals. Gives up first blood once again in this game, and you wonder if he's going to be able to bounce back.
The thing I took away from those stats, though, is that his jungle proximity from groups to quarters went up 4%. Not a massive amount, less than 10%. His gank involvement, or his kill and assist involvement in the first 15 minutes went from 0% to 86. So it's not like he spent more time ganking, it's just he was much more on point with his timings, and the rewards were clear for everyone.
And I do think it's going to be fairly difficult for him to find an advantageous gank in this situation where he's up against a Shen with Stand United when both top laners have traded teleport in the exchange gank mid. So wherever Ambition goes, it needs to be an incredible orchestrated gank, and probably needs Crown ulting in as well if they want to match numbers.
Yeah, my read this game is maybe gank itself is not what Ambition's best use is. We already said they have pushing lanes in 2 spots, getting more objectives, setting up the extra objectives rather than actually adding kills and assists. Basically being the icing on top of the cake that is pushing lanes is more going to be his focus.
All right, let's see how that plays out. Body Slam comes forward from Condi, that at least gets the flash from Crown, a big threatening move.
Really like that play out of Condi right there. And I actually like the heal out of Crown as well, because that most likely gave him the move speed to get out of range of the body slam flash combo. So a good bluff there by Condi, getting a summoner spell for nothing.
Coming back to the draft, though, extending the laning phase, stopping them from being fast push is really important. The side of WWE doing it so far is trading down bot.
A lot of damage back and forth. The barrel gets out onto Core JJ, forces the flash. It looked like Ben changed a little bit of target priority there, dashing onto Core JJ instead of Ruler. Catching Core JJ a little unawares. Team WE still ahead. By the way, first backs, fairly aggressive as well in the bottom lane. Mystic got BF Sword and Cull with that bonus first blood gold. That's just going to accelerate him to that sort of Essence Reaver first item spike.
Yeah, the build from Xayah is always a little strange, because I feel like while champions like Tristana spike on IE plus Shiv, Xayah needs the third item as well, Essence Reaver plus Zeal item plus IE, so the Cull is trying to speed him up to that moment since he's going to be weaker anyway. They're really just trying to attack this bottom lane before Core JJ gets level 6.
Stand United's available for 957, and Cube, by the way, does have his teleport up. Not enough minions to work with, so Team WE forced to back away. They don't get the tower, they get a lot of damage down. And Samsung maintain some line of defense, but this is how we expected that 2v2 to play out, with Mystic and Ben really shoving Rule and Core JJ in the whole time.
Yeah, and Samsung did split the map a little bit on the other side, which allowed Team WE to make that aggressive posture play. Zeep, you can notice the ward on Team WE's blue buff, and now it's kind of a matter of greed from Team WE, and how much do they want to push the envelope on this turret. It's low, but the teleport is back up from Cube. You have Crown, who's level 8. The collapse is a very real threat if they continue to try and finish off this turret.
Right now for Samsung, the pushing lanes haven't led to anything. All the attention's been bot side. The Xayah and Rakan Lovers duo have been able to do a lot of work, and the Kassadin and Shen are getting through laning phase a lot more comfortably than you might expect. Sure, a 20 CS-ish advantage top side, but we actually have Kassadin winning in CS in the mid lane, and Crown has no blue buff, so he's even controlling the lane pretty well.
Oh, the Blade Caller locks down Ruler. He puts down the satchel charge in reply, still holding on to Flash and Buster shot. Really playing defensive with those summoners. Barrier was secured though.
Yeah.
There's just so much action this game, trading non-stop in the lanes.
And that was Barrier for not much. And Ambition actually walks directly through the Scuttle Crab, intentionally most likely, just to get them off of Ruler. Ruler wants to be able to farm, get this wave off, and probably force another recall cycle before that turret would just fall from pressure.
And that's the key point. If he doesn't enter lane, Ruler leaves first, the turret goes down. So he just needs to be the person to actually get the preferential back timing, and Ben's even going to pull them in.
Yeah, and that's one of those ganks from Ambition that are going to hurt his stats, because he's going to up the jungle proximity now. He was near his bottom lane, but it's really the correct play to do at that moment, because it ends up saving the turret.
So a little bit of pressure relief then from Ambition, keeps Ruler, Core JJ alive as well as their tower. There's not a lot of pressure relief for 957. He continually is being hammered in by Cube. Cube's up around 20 CS at this stage.
They're going to get the turret anyway.
All right, tower's going to force a
Nice.
Ben and Mystic. Do they now back and pull off some sort of swap, alleviate the pressure for 957? Is it a possibility?
Well, this is actually huge for them, because they can back, and I need to double check to see if they have enough gold to get Ardent Sensor, because if they can get the Ardent Sensor, that's substantially before Core JJ, and they can essentially keep that turret lead alive.
Yeah, crashing bot lane turret first is massive for WE, because what did we say? Shen, Kassadin, not great wave clear. If you can send your duo lane there, start pushing in with those lanes, start actually opening up the turrets, getting a turret lead with these double globals, triple globals,
He got
through the Shen. That Ardent Sensor is big, and right now, actually, they're going to return to bot lane, so for now, not looking to crash other turrets.
Yeah, you can see the priority he puts on it, though. No control ward, no Nomad's Medallion. He waits an extra 15 seconds, but it's worth it, because now, any trade they take, as long as they don't get all in, they will sustain back up. This is the strongest point in the game with which to build that item.
All right, Essence Reaver completed, Rod of Ages completed, Ardent Sensor completed, and a Stand United. If ever there were invites to party in the bottom lane, teleports and Shears Kassadin as well. Condi's even making his way down. This is, the options are there if Rule and Core JJ stick around. Now, they've got no tower to fall back to, so it's going to be risky if they chase it up. Instead, Shea is going to go for a nice cheeky roam up top.
He's got an angle on it, but he walked right through a wall.
Waiting for the flash, and just so easily secured. 957 gets the credit.
He was standing on a control wall, but there was nowhere for Cuvée to go. This Kennen is very squishy in the straight-up matchup, sure, but right now, all expectation there would be that bot lane party, Trevor.
Yeah.
The RSVPs didn't go out, turned up it was a top lane gank, and it was lethal.
And that's the second time in this game where Team WE, I feel like, has defied the expectation of what Samsung thought. They thought Cassian was going to go bottom lane to try and start that party, but he goes top lane. The other one was the early jungle. And Cube doesn't want to flash over the wall because Shie's waiting for him. Then they just managed to chain their kill right at the end.
I mean, the timings were beautiful. Started with the Shadow Dash just as the Rift walked over into the control ward vision was there, and Cube already knew his demise was imminent. So map pressure, map presence for WE, despite having the lanes that are naturally going to be pushed in, is higher than that for Samsung. And a lot of Samsung's early game power, we talked about in draft, has largely been negated by the playstyle of WE.
Well, the early game power that was on Team WE that unlocked it. Mystic is now roamed to mid with the support of Ben and Shie waiting in the wings. We can take a look at some of his stats between groups and quarters. Also, you know, how the team has played around him. I
mean, you see the difference in CST and you think, okay, Mystic must have had a poor quarterfinals, but it was about matchups. They played Cogmore 4 times in that series, and they even won the last 2 games, won 2-2 overall. They weren't picking the Caitlyn pushing lanes, Caitlyn Janna, which was their standby in the second week of groups, and that just means your CST numbers are bound to go down.
Team still rallies behind him, they get his items, and then they fight and win. That was sort of the Team WE mantra. Wait for that Cogmore to become online, and then find all of the fights necessary. Let's see whether or not Team WE can do the same. Because of the fact they moved and chipped away mid-tower, it's almost donated this bottom outer turret to Samsung Galaxy. No real move to defend. However, you can see the duo lane moving up to the top. So what else can Team WE take away?
Well, right now, by giving up bottom, they're trying to take top and then probably control the Rift Herald. Where this play gets interesting is what happens after these turrets are traded and how the pace of the game reacts to it. Cloud Drake is up, second tier turret is also Dival with the Taric Talia Kennen.
Actually suits Samsung as well because it means their duo lane isn't exposed to that ardent sense of disadvantage they would have been in. Still no shot from Core JJ. They're grouping as 4. They're looking for that second turret.
I think Samsung should actually be very happy with this outcome right now. The fact that they're able to get the gold on Tristana, and it's just a matter of what they're trying to pull off after the fact.
Cube's looking for the 1v1 with 957. Going to be coming in. Stand United. Featherstorm buys enough time. The root holds Cube in place. 957 saves Mystic's life. Shie completes the teleport. Rift walks forward. And 957 gets the third of the game for WE.
It was a bait by Mystic right there. Cube nearly had the burst, but he got so much out of Team WE. Cube probably didn't expect them to use so much on it, but they did, and they get the kill.
He's kind of in Huni duty in this particular game where he's trying to create map pressure, knows he's likely to be outnumbered with the nature of Shen and the TP Kassadin, accepts that the team is going to pick up a Drake and answer. When it comes to laning matchup, he has a CS lead, but nothing else to show for it.
Gentlemen, it's just past 15 minutes, and it's a 2,500 gold lead for the team with Shen and Kassadin on their sides, and there's towers exposed. Let's see how the shenanigans break out with the Rift Herald. Is Samsung Galaxy looking to at least contest? Slicing Maelstrom's on cooldown though.
And Samsung still have a very strong team fight. Let's not undercut the amount of base damage that Talia brings and the power of the initiation combo of a J4 with a Taric ultimate plus an AP cannon flying in there. So Samsung can still be of the mind that it just takes one really good fight to get completely back into this game.
Ironically, I think the biggest power for WE, despite the fact that they can certainly team fight, is in the 1-3-1. If both Kassadin and Shen can deal it, we'll hold the point.
Well, flash quickness into the knockup. Crown is going to survive just long enough to get away. The Ignite ticks down. Ripple closes it out as Shie dashes forward. Team WE have a 4-man stack in the mid lane, and now they're sending a sight to the tower.
And they want to keep pushing the tempo. They're using so many of their flashes and teleports aggressively and getting exactly what they want out of it.
They're turning it into a pick comp basically on the side of WE, not necessarily something you would say when you saw the draft. It's working so far, but it's about the objectives after the kill, getting a much safer Rift Herald with Crown dead and unable to rejoin even with Weaver's Wall available. They won't take the mid lane turret, but WE purely control the pace of this game.
Well, I think this absolutely is a 1-3-1 team composition that relies on the picks. That's what they're able to generate right here. As Crown is in mid with both summoner spells, has ambition right there, so he feels pretty safe. But Ben and Shie burst so much damage. This is a 2-man gang that was able to kill Crown.
He goes down here, the Rift Herald, no doubt taken, is confirmed, picked up by Condi as well. Splitting the map is going to be so powerful for WE, and they have backup teamfight options, and for now, all Samsung can do is push back minion waves, but not actually grow any leads.
All right, now Cube is going to be under further pressure. Rift walks up for Shie, slicing Maelstrom will buy some time. It's 1,000 hit points to burn 3. Cube is going to try to turn it around. They're hitting away on Shie. Shie clears out the wave. This venue As Xie survives.
That's one of those plays that can swing the momentum of a game, and it again goes over to Team WE. The flash at the very end by both of them, the near minion kill, and the execute right down the stretch.
Yeah, the biggest commiserations to Cuvée, who played that perfectly, but he was 0-2 at the time, already 1-0-3. The Caston behind in items means that the outplay doesn't count for anything. We're going to see the replay here. Xie comes in. I thought Cuvée was going to be done. I thought already we had the point where Caston and Shen could easily 1v1 Cuvée, but then he turns it around.
The magic damage shield from the Q that helps out a little.
And watching that play, Cuvée landed absolutely every spell and the stun, but the lead was just too large by Xie. So credit to Xie for taking the fight with his advantage, but man, was that close.
All right, Condi goes for the invade, and the smite fight also wins that one out. Rift Herald still in the back pocket and available. Team WE, as we're getting close to 20 minutes, they're hitting 2 items almost across the board and looking for yet another tower.
Yeah, and they are having one of those games where every play they are making is working, so that only infuses them with more confidence based on the lead, and they got to keep this tempo up while they have the lead.
All right, gonna catch out onto Ambition. He gets the dunk down from the Cataclysm. Cosmic Radiance buys some time, but the blades gonna continue firing out. Ambition's able to run away with his life. Keep holding my breath, expecting, anticipating further follow-up. The Team W will be happy with a tower.
And they used so little on that fight. They got the Taric and the J4 Elf. They didn't use any summoner spells. It was just a Jarvan ultimate, and they already had the cast and split pushing. Now they pop down the Rift Herald. They're going for it all.
They feel confident enough to use it very late.
The storm used by Mystic to stay alive there. 957 and the Stand United help Xie get yet another kill onto Cuvée. That 0-4 is so unfortunate. Not a telling tale of this mid-game when WE have played and punished him in such a beautiful way. And Team WE on the bottom tower.
In every position on the map, WE are ahead. They're looking for more.
Oh, they are indeed. Ambition's the next target. Taunt comes in from 957. 2-man knockup from the grand entrance of Ben. Team WE in and out, continuing to press this lead. It's a 6,000 gold advantage. This tower's going to fall as well.
Yeah, Condi as well, consistently pressuring Samsung away from the aggressive zone, building the full tank support version of the Gragas. 6,600 gold, 20 minutes in.
I think every analyst came into this series wondering how good is Team WE, but they were also at the back of their head probably saying, how good was Samsung? We came in with 3 Longzhu predictions in the quarters. It ended up being a Samsung 3-0. Seeing a replay here of, once again, a snowboard Caston and Shen coming in, piggyback right there. And now we come to this series, and WE had a pretty narrow win condition, at least for the early game. Play around the Xayah and Rakan lane. They unlocked that lane, got the first turret, and everything from there has been picture perfect.
And they have been attacking Cuvée, which is technically the vulnerability when you pick one of these off-meta carry top laners. They cannot absorb gank pressure the same way that a lot of the tank picks can. And Xie and 957 have been basically duo queuing and ganking Cuvée over and over again, who hasn't been able to get any help, thanks to what Mystic and Ben have been pressuring and demanding out of Ambition bot side.
And that's the kind of the thing, is straight up Mystic and Ben are winning bot side, and WE are taking down the top side. Then you have to have question marks about Ambition. The fact that Crown has been corralled in the mid lane also hasn't been able to roam at all. Samsung have basically watched WE play close to the perfect game. They may have a turret, but everything else has been ideal for Team WE.
Well, Team WE going to set their sights on Baron, and in terms of all teams at Worlds, they've got some of the best Baron control. They've secured themselves 13, only conceded 4 all tournament long. And when you consider they've played 18 games, the World Championships, those are some impressive statistics, pushing the vision into Samsung's territory, and they can fall backwards. Body slam used to catch out Ambition. Flag and drag gonna get him to safety. Blasco buys some time, but look at 957. Flashes over the wall and confidently gets another.
And the dilemma of playing Taric J4 from behind. The Taric ultimate is too slow. You can't use it for the initiation because you don't have the damage to burst them. Team WE is having their dream game 1 right now.
Insane how far ahead they are. They'll just happily switch off onto the Baron. They know Ambition is dead. Samsung can't face it. They've been picked so many times. 7 deaths from picks. No team fights at all in this game, and this should be icing on the cake for the game 1 WE.
8,000 gold lead before Baron. And extend that to just shy of 10. 3 items going to be across the board, and Baron. I mean, now it should be trivial. Now it should be knocking over the Nexus, and figuring out how good is this Team WE.
Yeah, with that being said, the Shen Kassadin aren't exactly great sieging champions, so they still have to execute some of these dives. But watching this one more time, you can see the type of confidence they're playing with. Mystic is just chilling in the red buff pit and daring Samsung to fight him. Samsung's not willing to. Ambition had flash this whole time, wasn't willing to burn his flash early because they're trying to save as many tools as possible to try and get the engage, but it's one of those things that is just never happening for Samsung this game.
And it's also how the victory has happened from WE. Again, you just think back to the analyst desk. How will they get their win or their 2 wins, depending on the prediction? The late-game team fighting prowess of Mystic specifically and playing around a Fed 80 carry. They have a Fed 80 carry, but not even anywhere near the 4-0 Shen, the Kassadin that's been involved. It's been a team performance. It's been defying a lot of our recent expectations about WE, and it's been oh so clean.
Talking about team performance and expectations, I mean, the picks and bans from Team WE seem to work in their favor to an extent. The Xayah Rakan as well as the Kassadin and the Shen getting some comfort picks. But then you look at the playstyle and the prep, they read the reaction from Samsung on that invade and sort of called them out, punishing them to pick up first blood.
And by no means was this one-on draft. It was a good draft. You're giving up Xayah Rakan doesn't feel good as Samsung, but they have a comp they showed they can play with the same tools like CC and Initiation. It was about the execution from WE and Ambition, unfortunately being a bystander again after being pivotal on the Sejuani. He's off Sejuani duty that he was on solely in the quarterfinals, and he has not found action wherever he's gone.
And Team WE has also made some really good bets. The 5-man re-invade onto the blind side of their jungle to start the game to get first blood onto Ambition. On top of that, Xie's roam top at just the right time to catch Cuvée and start that snowball. And now, with the Baron, just setting up that perfect 1-3-1 and taking down all the turrets.
It feels so bad to be 1-3-1 by Shen and Kassadin with a pushing advantage. Mid lane also so low. Waiting for that last final moment.
All right, body slam and barrel has been used by Condi. Cataclysm comes down. Featherstorm will buy some time for Mystic if he needs it. Doesn't just yet. Ambition's the target. Finding the feathers fly, and Mystic runs for his life. The blades and the quills get a second of the fight. The base is broken open, and before 25 minutes, Team WE are pushing for the Nexus.
This is at least 2 inhibitors, but they got a chance to go for a game. They still got 20 seconds on Ambition and 30 on Cuvée.
There's not enough in the tank for Samsung to defend. 5-on-3. Crown has to pull off a miracle as Ruler's trying his best to wave clear. Baron empowered cannon minion, they're doing work on the tower, and WE, they're not biting off more than they can chew.
Yeah, no second minion wave pushing in, only the cannon, as you can see. Minion wave too far, so that will extend the game. Samsung made the sort of move where if you're equal in gold, maybe it works, but from behind only hastens their demise. Great teleport ward there for Cuvée. A Fed AP cannon, and maybe this is a one-team fight, but there's no Fed members on Samsung.
I do say the team fight is also desynced. Ambition is dead before the cannon gets in there, and he only does about 40% of Mystic's health before he lifesteals up with the Warlord's proc. So Samsung has been out of sync for much of this game, and even though they were so locked in against Longzhu in that 3-0, this is looking more like the potentially shaky Samsung that we saw from group stage, at least in this one game.
So important to see how Samsung bounce back from this game. Of course, Team WE, they had side selection, they elected blue, picks and bans played out, then the game played out, some great decision making as we've discussed, and now we see if WE can keep that up all series long. They're going to push this wave down bottom and top. Teleport is up for Xie, teleport is up for 957. No Stand United yet, but it will be fairly soon. And with all the work that Xie had done bottom lane, it's just going to be a couple of autos left on this inhibitor turrets.
Yeah, every single 1v1 or 2v2 skirmish, Samsung are exposed. It's not quite falling, but cresting on 3 downed inhibitor turrets.
Yeah, still no teleport on Cuvée, but he does have flash, and he's just isolated against this level 17 Kassadin, by the way. A 4-level advantage on the split pushing cannon.
Oh boy.
That is ridiculous. And of course, because Crown showed top, Team WE used that momentary 4v3 and instantly push into the base. There's a body slam, flash. They get the kill before the Radiance can even come down. Cuve's doing what little he can of that slicing maelstrom, but he's the man that gets cut down. Ambition picks up the first and only kill of the game in favor of Samsung before being taken down himself. And Xie's hourglass prevents any further casualties. A 14-1 kill score. Team WE crush Samsung in game 1.
And what a way to open up the series for Team WE in front of the home crowd, trying to bounce back for the LPL after that crushing defeat they had yesterday at the hands of SKT. It's a long series, and we know both these teams are incredibly versatile, especially Samsung for their ability to adapt. But that's a hell of a statement in game one.
Yeah, it's all about sample size, Jat. You look at that sample size of quarterfinals, you come in with a set prediction. Surely Samsung will take it comfortably, but it's been a long road for Team WE all the way from the play-ins to now. They have changed their tone a couple of times. They have changed their style, like the Caitlyn and Rumble showed us. This was them playing proactive on the sort of comp that you thought had to weather an early storm. Seems like the forecast was off. They controlled the early game, and for the side of Samsung, they just watched a team execute by far better than they could on the day.
And so much credit to Team WE for this victory. You know, executing on the draft, playing well. I think the term that you used, Jat, was some good gambles, some good calls in terms of that blind invade.